PowerPole just dropped something completely different, and today I'm excited to get my hands on it. So we're going to look at and unbox the new PowerPole Vision. This is going to be an absolute game changer for shallow water boats. So we're going to dive on in and start unboxing it. Safety first, kind of. Get these out of here, get that out of here. Okay, the big debut. That out of here. So this is the first look at the Vision. Comes in the awesome packaging and there's a lot of information on it, so definitely take your time and look at it. So the cool thing about this Vision is it pretty much acts as a smart hub for your whole boat. And in my case, I run an 1854 GatorTrax Gator High Gen 2 boat. So you've probably seen a lot of my other videos. Right now, it's pretty rigged out for fishing. But come duck season, I have a hard blind that goes on it, and then we completely change how we use the boat. With my GatorTrax, I run a lot of questionable waters, whether it's really skinny waters, really choked up water with a hydrilla, or I'm up in the econ where there's a lot of stumps and the water can vary height pretty dramatically. Or if I'm in South Florida, down in the Everglades. All these areas having not only good quality satellite maps, but the most recent version of satellite maps is pretty key. So this is why I went with the 7-inch model. I'm going to be putting it next to my 12-inch Lowrance. And I think this is going to be a really great combo. Because currently on my Lowrance, I paid a lot of money to have really good satellite maps, but the problem is the maps get outdated, you have to pay for updates, and it's kind of a hassle. So the reason I went with a 7-inch Vision is I don't really need two 12-inch units at my home. It doesn't really make sense for my kind of boat. For bass boats or some other people, the 12-inch model may be great for you. But for my needs, I just need something that has great visibility, I can still see over, and not going to be too much with the 12 next to it. But that's what I'm going to kind of really dive into of what I'm excited is having the HD maps and being able to go back in dates, seeing the fluctuations in the water levels and items like that. But one of the cool things about the Vision is it's essentially a smart hub for your whole boat. So if you're running the PowerPole Charge, you have the PowerPole Move, or just your traditional power poles in the back of your boat, you can control everything from this unit. So in my case, I don't have all that, but I have the blades with the one pump. So I'll still be able to control it off your traditional remote, but I'll be able to quickly access it on this unit. So I want to dive a little deeper in why the HD satellite maps mean so much to me. So when I'm running the St. John's, the water fluctuation can dramatically change how shoals or what submerged logs, submerged trees, or you don't know what. But especially when we get up into the econ, you're running some pretty tight waters, and being able to have kind of a good idea of what you're getting yourself into prior to running up in that, it's always helpful. So I don't want to directly bash my other mapping cards in my Lowrance, but they've worked great for the years I've had them. But the biggest thing I've noticed is every time I'm out running a lot of these areas, there's so much changes that I don't really have too much faith in the maps being accurate. But with being able to run so many different types of apps on the Vision, I can also cross-reference Google Earth, the other apps, to kind of get a best judgment call of what it looks like. And one of the neatest features I think that the Vision has is the enhanced sunlight visibility mode. So we all know it gets really bright in the water, you can crank up the brightness. But what they've done is you can highlight a certain section of the map that you really want to dive into, and it just brightens it up and shows so much more detail. So if you're inshore fishing, you can literally see where all the beds are, the pockets, any of the holes. So it really gives you way more flexibility to kind of scout what you're looking for. With these maps, you can go back and look at historical data and compare it to how it looks now. So especially if you have in the past really low tides or low water, you can kind of see what was exposed there, whether it's looking for fishing holes or, in my case, a lot of logs. So you can go back, look, and then kind of see how it has changed throughout the years. So that's a pretty neat feature. Going back to the vision being a smart hub for your boat, this may sound silly, but one of the things I'm most excited for is being able to quickly access my Spotify from the vision compared to having to pull out my phone and fumble with it, especially if my hands are wet. But with the vision, you can just pull up Spotify and it's just like using it on your phone, or if you have a tablet, some people that run that way. So with the mud boat, you need a pretty loud sound system here over the engine. So I have two JL 8.8s in the front and two JL 7.7s tower speakers in mid-deck. So it's a pretty loud system, and especially if I'm just out cruising for the weekend, I like to listen to music, hang out, and have a good time. And this is being an all-in-one infotainment system, it's just going to make that so much easier for my everyday uses. One thing I want to touch on is why I picked the 7-inch model over having two 12s on my console. Nowadays, you're seeing boats get more and more outlandish with electronics and forward-facing sonar, which I'm guilty of that. I have live sonar on my bow. Now I'm going to have 2 units at my console. It's a lot for a mud boat, especially when these boats are designed to be lightweight and shallow water performance as possible. So I figured the 7-inch model for my needs was the perfect size, and it's going to pair completely great with my Lowrance. And the one thing that's going to be nice is now I'm not going to have to rely on my Lowrance for the satellite maps. So if I am fishing, I can actually use it as a fish finder and then rely on the vision for my mapping. So all in all, they're going to work really great together, and it's going to make life that much easier. So now we're going to open it up and just kind of see what it looks like. And again, the packaging on this is absolutely fantastic. Great adventures start with the map and the vision. Could not be any more true. One thing to note, I'm probably not going to do it, I'm going to hotspot, but a cool thing about the vision is if you want to put cellular on it and always have access to have all the apps, even if you don't have your phone, you can do the unlimited data plan for 40 bucks a month. So this is a pretty cool feature by Pure Talk. But don't throw it away. So, first look at the vision, and I am so happy I went with the 7. I'm sure the 12 is absolutely badass, but the 7 for my needs is really more than enough. Again, I'm putting this on a shallow water mud boat, built for utility. My boat's only 20 feet, but a lot of people will be putting this on a 15 to 16 foot skiff. So you don't need a huge 12. So again, the 7's the absolutely perfect size for my needs. You got your power cables. I'm gonna put this guy back up. And that's it. Ready for one of the most satisfying things. No matter how old I get, I'm always gonna enjoy the feeling of pulling off the screen protector on any new electronics. Okay, that's a little dramatic. But that's the vision. My boat's in the shop right now, so as soon as I get it back, I'm going to install this and then in future videos do more walkthroughs of my favorite apps. But what I'm probably going to do in the description below and then maybe on the screens throughout this video is adding in some of the key technical specs of the vision. But I highly recommend you to go to powerpole.com and check it out for yourself. And hopefully my videos are still recording.